Mr. Revan, we have the parliamentary elections upcoming. January 11, 2024 is fast approaching.
Yes, indeed.
And we see that you are not slowing down with your campaigning. You're out there, Simari. People are hearing from you. Let's start off there just to kick it off and let us know how the campaigning process is going with you and your team.
Well, Audrey, the campaign is going excellent. I have a very strong team. We're a big group, good sized group, and the guys are out there working hard. The ladies are out there working hard, and they have me up and down, through and through St. Maarten, really meeting the people, talking to them, and getting to hear their concerns and hear how I plan on addressing those concerns that they have.
All right, you're not new to politics. We know you've been around the block
Yes.
a few times. But what does this mean to your family that you're running?
Well, for my family, you will see that this one is special for us. You can imagine that last election I ran, and you know, the family was just getting accustomed to me being in politics, being a vocal voice in the community, and now they've kind of settled in with that. And the family actually came to me and said, listen, this is where we want you to go, these are the things we want you to address, and this is how we think you would be successful, and this is how we plan on supporting you. And so with that level of support, that level of encouragement, I couldn't do anything but grasp that and run with it.
Now I see that you're talking a lot about your father and his historical electoral times.
Yes.
You know, talk to me about that. Let the people know.
Well, you know, my father, Rupert Maynard, for me, Audrey, history matters. Legacy matters and family matters. I don't think that we would be St. Maarten without our past. I don't think I would be with who I am without my father. And so those two joining together is important for me. My father played a great role in this nation's development. And I think for me to do that, I have to carry on the legacy that he started and try to continue to live up to that. So you would see that not only myself, but my family over the years, long before I was involved in politics, continued the legacy of supporting the St. Peter's community with gifts for the kids, different toy drives, food drives, and so we've continued that legacy that my father started so many years ago, and I think now I'm stepping up a little bit further than that to try to make it a national contribution. Well, I came back 2003. I really started with the youth. I started a lot with Swaliga Youth Basketball, district basketball. From that I progressed into being national basketball coach. Me and a few colleagues went away and we were able to win a championship that has never been won before for St. Maarten, and that was really my springboard to realize that we can do more as a country. We can do more if we put our minds together. If we get the best minds of St. Maarten together, we can achieve greatness. So with that, I decided to get two other minds with me, and we started a radio program called The Review. It really started as a hobby during the Corona period. We were all home, we were good friends, and what we did on The Review, we were doing every day on the phone. You know, this WhatsApp now has these video calling, and we're doing that. And I said, man, listen, we have the radio there, let's utilize it, you know, and let's share our knowledge with the people of St. Maarten, and it came off well. I think it was a program that really shared a lot of information with people. I think we really tried, and I really tried my best to ensure that we stuck to the statistics and the deep information and analyzing what was happening for the people, because, you know, sometimes I say people are busy. You know, you're a single mom, you're working, you're more concerned with what you're cooking tomorrow for the children's breakfast than what is happening in the world of politics. Unfortunately, though, politics does matter and does affect your life. It affects your ability to be able to purchase food for your children for tomorrow. It affects your ability on the rent that you're going to have to pay. So those things matter, and I think that while they don't have the time to do it, somebody has to do it for them. And so I took that opportunity and said, listen, this is an opportunity for us to help further the people of this country, and that's what we did. Healthcare reform is important. A healthy people is a happy people, and unhealthy people is an unhappy people. And I believe that healthcare has to be the paramount of our nation's success. If we want to build a happy nation, a successful nation, we have to start with our healthcare. Our people have to be healthy. And what does that really mean for us? It means, number one, that we need to educate our children in food. Right? Growing food, preparing food, and eating food. So one of the things that I really want to start is looking at the high schools. We're here in the Emilio Wilson Park, which is a beautiful National Historic Park to us, and part of this park's history to us is food. And so what I would plan to do is allocating portions of the park to each high school to grow food or raise animals for food. So what we will do is we will give each high school a particular quota on what they're responsible for growing, whether it is peas, whether it is corn, whether it is spinach, so that each high school can prepare that. And then what we do with that food is we use that food for a food program for the primary schools. So that is the first introduction that we have into a quality healthcare system, right? Prevention, they always say, is better than cure. So we have to look at the prevention and how do we ensure that we're raising healthy children and have healthy and happy families. And it starts with our food. With that, we also teach our children food science, so they learn the science into developing food. And when they come out of school, regardless of which school they went to, which program they studied, they have a skill set that they can use to raise food for themselves or raise food to sell to others. So I think that's the very first step. The next thing that we have to do is look at the food that we're consuming. We consume an ultimate amount of sugar. We are one of the leaders in the world as a region in terms of diabetes, hypertension, pulmonary problems, and it comes from the sugar and obesity that we're suffering from. So we have to stem that level of sugar. So what does that mean? It means that we have to give subsidies for healthy foods and fruits. It cannot be cheaper in a country for you to buy sugar, sodas, chips, sugary cereals than it is to buy oats, than it is to buy apples and those sort of things. So we have to prepare subsidies for our people to do that, right? So we have to work along with the importers of the food that we are able to subsidize those foods. And we have to also work with countries in the region. We have somehow, here we go back, I have to go back to my father again. When my father, Claude, was in politics, St. Martin was a regional player in the Caribbean. We have isolated ourselves from the region. We have to get in touch with Dominica, St. Lucia, St. Kitts, Grenada, Santo Domingo, Haiti, and work along with them to sort of import our food. We spend quite a lot, the region spends over $6 billion a year in food import from America and other parts of the world. And our regional brothers who are growing healthy, natural food for us, we're bypassing, right? So we really have to change that and really try to ensure that we're importing more healthy foods and subsidizing them so that our local families can afford these healthy foods and feed them to their children so our children can be healthy and happy.
Well said. I want to talk about the social equality, bringing back the middle class. What
Absolutely.
do you mean by that when you have that list?
I'll give a little story. My wife is a nurse, and you could imagine after the hurricane, all that was going on, that was happening. Naturally, as a father, as a husband, you want the best for your family. So like many families, I said, man, everyone is leaving. Maybe I should consider sending my family away as well. We organized everything to get them back to New Jersey. And in the middle of the night, my wife wakes up and says, Khalil, I can't go. So it's the middle of the night. I'm thinking she can't go to the bathroom. I was like, man, just step over, because I always sleep on the edge. She sleeps on the inside. I'm like, just step over. She's like, no, I can't go. I can't leave. I said, what do you mean? And she says to me, this is the time that the country needs nurses. This is the time that this country has developed me. This country has helped me. And I can't leave the place that has developed me in this time of need. And these are our middle class people. When we look at our civil servants, airport workers, GB workers, TELM workers, those are the people that brought this country back from the hurricane period. And today, those very same people are under attack. They're under attack by inflation. They're under attack by the high cost of living. They're under attack by cuts in their salaries. They are under attack. They're under attack by their workforce having to compete with people from outside. We are under attack. Our middle class is under attack, and that has to change, right? So it means that, yes, we have to put our people first. If there are business opportunities, we have to make equity capital available for our people so that they can get small companies that they can be able to do business. We have to make opportunities for housing subsidies that our people can be able to live and afford rents, that they can have disposable income to take their families and their children on vacation and put them in sports and put them in music, that the children can be raised in a happy, quality household, right? We cannot have our middle class families, those that brought this country back from the brink of destruction. Everyone thought St. Martin was finished. Those very same people today, the GB workers, TELM workers, civil servants, nurses, ambulance workers, firefighters, they brought this place back, and today we have nothing for them. And I'm saying, no, that's not good enough. We have to fight for them today. Those very same people during the Corona period, while their salaries were being cut, those nurses were still out. While their salaries were being cut, GB workers were still out, tele workers were still out, civil servants and the airport workers. The airport, you know, I want to say something. The airport workers are one of the forgotten classes of this society. That airport has brought in food, brought in material, and brought in people to help bring this country back, and those airport workers were there. And today, they are under attack, and we have to change that. We have to fight back for our middle class.
Can we wind it down with you telling us what kind of father you are? I know that every time we see you in St. Martin, you have to be with a beautiful little girl who's
yes.
a little grown up now, but tell us about daddy life.
Well, for those who know me, my daughter has been with me from birth, and only because, again, my wife at that time was working at Mark's Place. She worked in evenings, so I had the responsibility of being the daycare daddy, as they call it, from after school I pick up and the day is mine, right? So my daughter came to basketball practices with me, came to basketball games with me. I was at her ballet, I was at practices, I was at the tennis practices. I began coaching her in tennis, coaching her in basketball. But I'll say this, I'm a father in pain because, again, for my daughter to excel at what she loved, she was forced to leave this island because, again, the sports facilities that were necessary for her to train and practice, which is the tennis courts, which is the basketball courts, were not fixed, were not adequate. The programs and funding that was necessary for her to develop and grow in the sport of tennis or the sport of basketball was not there. Right? The alliances with the international organizations, which is the ITF and the FIBA, is not there. These are the things that people are suffering with their children today because their children love the sport and they cannot grow and develop in the sport because we have failed our children.
So she had to leave?
She had to leave because she was doing very, very, very well in tennis. She got an offer and a scholarship at a tennis academy, so my wife didn't want it. It took us 2 years to make that decision. She got the offer when she was 12 from a Canadian institute, and my wife turned it down. And my wife had to, you know, as a father, there's certain things you don't think of. My wife said, who's going to comb her hair when we're not there?
Right.
Who's going to do that? You understand? And that's only a mother can think of that. Only a mother's love can think of those things. Me as a father, man, let's do this. These people are paying. She's going to get tennis. You understand? So we have to understand the pain that our mothers are going through in this country because their children are not able to find the joy and love that they want and so much desire. And we have to fix that. We cannot continue to fail our children and hurt our mothers. It has to stop, and we have to invest properly in our sports programs.
Well, much success to her.
Thank you so much.
And I know you guys are hurting, but you are also helping her.
Yes, indeed.
When you talk about environmental justice, what does that mean to you for the environment of St. Martin?
Well, again, it sounds very cyclical, but everything is, we are St. Martin and St. Martin is us. So we can't have the human aspect of our society without the environmental aspect, and vice versa. Both are important. When we think about the term Swaliga, we are Swaliga, the people of the salt. So if we're not taking care of the latter part, the salt, the land, then we don't have the earlier part, which is us, the people. When you look at our environment right now, I'm sorry to say, it's not clean. And we need to clean our environment. Cleanliness is next to godliness.
You think education has something to do with that?
Education has everything to do with it. I think we have become very laissez-faire in our attitude towards the environment. Somebody else will take care of it, somebody else will handle it, but the responsibility is on each and every individual. So it means that yes, we have to start with cleaning the salt pond, revitalizing the salt pond. We have to start thereafter with resurrecting the salt factory because that is who we are. Again, history matters. History matters, therefore we matter. We can't matter without our history.